And so what happened was he had gotten out of shape. He was like 250.
Hey, we're streaming. Turn your mic off, and I'll remind y'all to turn it back on.
So turn it off or turn it on?
Turn yours off. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Breakfast Club live here at Western Sizzling in Oxford, Alabama. We had a great night of high school football, a day of college football coming up, two big in-state games with the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Tennessee Volunteers. My son went to that game with my sister and her husband. My sister's an Auburn fan. Her husband's a huge Alabama fan, even though he played college baseball at Mississippi State. And so I'm hoping that my son don't come home wearing crimson today. Now, I did have to warn him, hey, whenever you go to the game with somebody and they're paying for your way and feeding you, you act like you cheer for who they cheer for. And then when you get back home, you cheer for whoever. But you don't ever hurt the hands that are feeding you that day.
Let me tell you something. Them kids, they learn that. Because I'm telling you, I had a house full of Auburn fans at one time. All of my kids were Auburn fans, besides Terry, and I always tried to make sure his birth certificate was right. He's always been an Alabama fan. But Gary and Tanisha, them Auburn fans. Victoria, all of them was Auburn fans. And then, once they got out the house, they became Alabama fans.
Well, here's what happened. It didn't have nothing to do with whose house they were in or whatever. They saw who was winning, and Alabama was winning, so they just went. They could, yeah. That's what I'm afraid of. Because my son, he don't like cheering for losers, and right now Auburn's not playing real well, so I'm afraid that.
You tell him, me and him on the same page on that deal there, because I don't.
It's a struggle bus right now, man. Like I'm telling you.
That Auburn boy.
I tell the people all the time, whenever I pass from this world, I'm going to let Auburn be my pallbearer so they can let me down gently one more time.
Let you down gently.
Let me down gently. All right, so
they might drop you.
Going to I'm going to hit some of the high note games that and then we've got some big games coming up later on in this week that's got some really big implications on playoffs. But I was at the White Plains Montford game last night. That place was packed. Kudos. Congratulations to an unbelievable atmosphere to the White Plains Wildcats and their community. I have some ties to both of those teams. I was joking with Dawson in our pregame show yesterday. They can essentially call that the Tyree Bowl because I was the defensive coordinator at Montford for 3 years, head coach at White Plains. But I got to say this, the job that Coach Jennings is doing at White Plains and the energy that he's building and the culture that they're playing with right now, some new guys that they've got out, and the name that you got to talk about when you talk about the White Plains Wildcats right now, Dylan Barksdale is playing the best football he's ever played in his entire career. He's the lone senior. There's two seniors on the team. Cooper Tenney was out for the rest of the year with a season-ending injury. So there's one senior on the field right now for White Plains, but you know who he is. Yeah. He's a leader. The way he's playing, I'm proud of the player he is, but I'm more proud of the person that he's become. And so that, but listen, man, like Mumford, kudos to them.
Yeah.
Played the last game that I was at for Mumford was the Cleveland County Mumford game, and they looked lost the entire ball game. And then last week I was at the Cleveland County White Plains game, looked lost for majority of the game. When it started snowballing out of control, it was bad for Cleveland County. And so both of those teams looked like they were done, and White Plains was going to get into the playoffs. But Mumford showed up. They got a guy named Tank Edmondson, and I believe that quarterback B.J. Anderson probably played his best game of the year last night, especially with his legs. But he was able to run the ball, had a long pass play for a touchdown. He was able to do a lot of things. But then when it got nitty-gritty time in the end of the game, Tank Edmondson was able to take over. Both teams had some episodes in the game where they both looked sloppy, holding on to the football. And turnovers, but both teams played extremely hard. Defenses, I think, on both sides were extremely tired. Ball game went into overtime, and the instant classic. And here's the thing about it: we talked about it a little bit on the show last night. Now it's going to be an absolute mess to see who gets that 4 seed more than likely. And we've talked about it. Cleveland County's got to play Anniston. The way Cleveland County's been playing, I don't see them being able to pull off the upset against Anniston. Jacksonville is Jacksonville. That's going to be a really tough matchup for the White Plains Wildcats. And Handley is, in my opinion, I talked to a coach this week that thinks they are 2 to 3 scores better than the number 1 ranked team in Class 4 right now, the Handley Tigers, that is. They play the Mumford Lions. So either one of those teams winning and putting themselves in by a win next week looks very unlikely. And so then it's going to go to different, and so, tiebreakers. So how many games is Westbrook Christian going to win before they play White Plains? Can White Plains beat them? How many wins is Northside going to get for Cleveland County? Because again, I think they play Walter Welborn, who is rolling as hot as anybody right now. I don't know how if they can win that football game. And then Mumford's going to win a game against Asheville, more than likely. You don't want to count your chickens before they hatch, but that. Asheville's terrible.
One of them may be a pro.
Yeah. But Asheville's going to give them 0 wins when it comes down to that tiebreaker. Yeah. So if you look at the tiebreaker, you got record against the number 1 team. It's all going to match up 2 teams. All the records are going to match up probably against everybody else in the region, and they all 3 beat each other. So it's going to go to non-region wins. They're all going to have the same number of non-region wins, and then which when you look back at it. That Northside win is going to end up being huge for Cleveland County, even though I think Northside's not what everybody thought they were going to be. I think they're going to be a 4-win team this year. Those 4 wins are probably going to be enough to get the Cleveland County Tigers in the playoffs. And so, but White Plains, maybe Westbrook Christian wins another one this next week. They get hot, and White Plains is able to beat Westbrook Christian and have a chance to get in the playoffs. But another big game in the area last night, the Oxford Yellow Jackets took on the Clay Chalkville Cougars, the number 2 team in Class 6A. Some people think there might be the number 1 team in Class 6A. They think they might be able to beat Saraland. I want to see a team. I want to see any team in the state beat Saraland, to be honest with you. But you were at that game last night, Dex. Tell us your thoughts on that game.
I mean, Clay Chalkville, they got Broadway. They got the Craver kids. So, first half they was up with 21-0. Oxford came out in the second half and pretty much adjusted really well and made a game out of it. So, the team I seen last night, I don't think Clay Chalkville can beat Saraland at the moment. But also, I think with Oxford, they're making strides as well. So, very, very good game last night.
Oxford fell behind 21-0 in the first half. Kind of dug a hole that you really can't dig whenever you're playing a team that's good. That's good. But in the second half, Oxford got some things going offensively. Defense was what I was very impressed with, tackling people in space. If you missed the ball game, go to the Big O Sports TV24 Big O Sports Network. You can take in the game. Bear with us last night. It was a rough night for us. We were scrambling there was the Facebook Live blackout for all of us, and the streaming company that we used was struggling, but we had the Big O Sports Network. You can go take in our Lincoln Sports Network game, which we'll get to in a minute. But Gary, you said all year that, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, I'm gonna try to be nice to you today
Yeah,
because
I mean, I
Buckethead's
come
not
ready
here.
for that today.
You said that the Oxford was gonna beat Clay Chalkville
said
all
it.
year.
I said it.
And I don't mind that. Hey, listen, I don't mind. We give you a hard time, but like we try to, we really not professionals anyway, but we fans and that's where you got your diploma from. You're an alumni there. You want to see the Oxford. You're not ever going to say the Oxford Yellow Jackets are going to lose. You're going to say they're going to win every single ball game, no matter how bad they are, how good the other team is. Which Oxford's still a very good football team that could, if they get some things fixed going into the playoffs, can be very dangerous in Class 6A.
I want to be dangerous.
Yeah, and so tell us what you tell us. You got an opportunity. You got the floor right now.
Actually, that game last night. This was a measurement stick. You just measure your talent level to that talent level that came into your house. That Clay Chalkville team is a good team, not just that would come in to a mediocre. They came in and beat off. Okay, now I think we got one senior on defense, and I think that's Sire. Yeah, one senior on defense, and that defense last night played good to me.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, they put the helmets where they need to be. But listen, we talking about a team that was like thrown under the bus for a couple years there. That's an improvement. And like you said, if Oxford got themselves going into a playoff game and playing Oxford ball, they can be dangerous.
Well, the second half, we talk about moral victories and like. Sometimes, people say there ain't no moral victories, but there was times where I lost on the scoreboard at White Plains, and when I looked at the film, I said, hey, we got better.
That's why we look at film.
And so I think when Coach Adams looks at that film and how they played in the second half and being able to tackle in space, the Zimbabwe, however you say it's like, Zimbabwe.
We just call him
something.
Okay.
I'm going to call him, look, you may not know who he is now. You will in a couple of years when he's playing whatever he ends up playing. He's an athlete. He's going to go to the University of Alabama, 5-star player, really good player. I think Nick Saban might have been in the house last night to watch him play. But to be able to, you saw what he did against the national powerhouse in Thompson on live television earlier in the year. For Oxford to be able to keep him in check and to tackle those athletes in space the way they did, very impressive for the Oxford Yellow Jackets. If you can tackle like that, get yourself going on offense, because we know Oxford's got weapons offensively. If they can get themselves going offensively, they got a chance. And I think Oxford, you don't ever want to lose, but I think they feel really good at where they're coming out of this game.
I agree with that.
And now, early in the season, I was telling you that Oxford would beat Clay Chalkville. The only time that I always feel like we got a chance to beat Clay Chalkville is whenever they come to Oxford. I don't care who you play, who playing them when you go to Clay Chalkville. It's a different atmosphere. I'm telling you, it's hard to beat Clay Chalkville in Clay Chalkville.
No doubt.
That's when you
hate
beat
going to Clay
them. When you beat them, you better beat them on the road.
That's the problem. But, hey, if Oxford wants to make a run in the playoffs,
you got to go and beat them over there.
They got to beat them at Clay Chalkville. I hate that place.
It's hard.
I don't hate the people. I hate going to that place,
it's
though.
It's hard to win there.
Like
I don't know. Has Oxford ever went to Clay Chalkville and won there?
No.
Not that I can
No.
Hey, it's too soon. You over here bringing up LSU atmosphere. My Auburn Tigers went there and got curb stomped last week.
No.
It's too soon. But listen, I've been let down so much by Auburn it didn't even bother me. I was sitting there watching the game. My family was in town from Florida. I was enjoying my family and didn't even care about the game.
No.
Didn't even care.
Just think about it. I'm at the restaurant. I got the TVs playing. Auburn on, getting curb stomped. I go in the back. I stay in the back. I don't even come out.
I wouldn't stay in back, man. You in there making that money.
I'm back there hollering. I don't want nobody to hear me back there saying the things I say. It just don't look like it's right to come out of my mouth.
All right. Well, speaking of you and look, man, Tech Guy's out today, and I always give Tech Guy a hard time. So our commercials are going to be a little bit different. But saying that, all right, you were talking about measuring up, measuring stick earlier, being there, watching the game. Yeah. If you don't have anything going on today, go to Mason's Barbecue. They'll have football games on the TV. They'll have catfish. They'll have barbecue.
Slabs.
They'll have slabs of ribs. They got whatever you need. The only thing that I measure when I leave Mason's Barbecue is my waist again because I done gained some weight.
Gaining them points.
And so make sure you take in Mason's Barbecue, and we appreciate Gary. Y'all see him here, but we appreciate him not only for being a mainstay on our shows, but also we appreciate Mason's Barbecue supporting TV24 Primetime Sports. So go hit up Mason's Barbecue right across the stadium in Jackson. 208 Mountain Street, right across from the stadium. You can catch them there. You better eat up before Coach Rich Rod beats you up there. Coach Rich Rod loves the Buckethead special.
He goes in hard, too.
He goes in hard?
Oh, yeah.
Ain't no doubt about it. Well, make sure you support Gary and Mason's Barbecue. You will not regret it. Another game last night that not really a local game, but I think it's a game we got to talk about. Fife and Pisgah. That game was an unbelievable ball game, and we thought it was going to be an unbelievable ball game. Not a game that you're used to seeing Fife involved in, a game that's 56-42. The Fife Red Devils win at home. A lot of people in the state thought that Pisgah was going to roll into Fife and beat Fife. You don't just roll into Fife and beat Fife, though.
No.
It's a dog fight whenever you go up there. So.
Well, you know, they've had some common opponents. Obviously, they're in the same region, but they also have a common non-region opponent in Geraldine. Geraldine beat Fife early in the year. Pisgah beat Geraldine, and then you get this matchup, and everybody's thinking, well, Pisgah's better than Fife. Well, Fife has made some adjustments. What good coaches do. Paul Benefield can coach, obviously. All right, you know a man can coach when he is winning state championships in blue jeans.
Yeah, and jeans.
And jeans.
And that's hard
and
to
jeans. Man, wear blue jeans.
Hard to do.
Hard to do.
Yeah.
I don't know many coaches that wear blue jeans. He's old school. He's blue collar. His kids play that way. Football is life in Fife. And, you know, yesterday I was able to catch up with Bo Starkey from Average Joe's, and I was talking with him, and he was up there to take in the game. And we talked about how games are still won up front, offensively and defensively, and that was where the game was won. Fife, they're not going to wow you. You're not going to go to the game and say, man, they threw for 500 yards. They're going to line up in the Ugly Eagle. They're going to pound it right at you. And that's what they were able to do last night. I looked at some of I got home last night. I couldn't sleep, obviously. I should have slept because I was tired this morning when I had to get up at 4:30 to get here. King, what are you doing?
I had to get my cousin something.
Yeah, get something.
I had to get it to him. She got it. Thank you. I did it when I
thought you was trying to order your bacon.
I am next.
But Fife, not going to wow you, but lined up and just pounding it all night long. It was actually 56-28, and Pisgah scored 2 late touchdowns to make it close. But Fife dominates. It looks like they're getting rolling at the right time. They're going to be a power in Class 2A. I think Fife and Pisgah are definitely going to face each other, and then I'm looking forward to the Reeltown and BB Comer matchup. Let me see that score. Yeah, Reeltown won last night 40-13, and so really looking forward to that. Now, I think Reeltown and Highland Home will face off next week for the region championship there. Highland Home won 41-0 in their game. So a lot of really, really good games going on last night. The Anniston Bulldogs in a game, they defeated the Talladega Tigers last night by a score of
52-0, I think, or 54-0, something like that.
54-0. They're a team also. They're a 3 seed that you really don't want to see. But I talked to Coach Rico Jackson earlier in the week, and they've got to continue to get better. They got to plug and find their best group, especially up front on the offensive and defensive line. People don't realize how much Anniston lost up front.
They lost every starter on offense. So so they got to rebuild on the offensive line.
J Money.
Yep. Well, J Money didn't play a lot.
He didn't play a lot of offense.
No, he got a chance to go in. That's why he didn't play a lot, but he the only one I can remember.
But like you think about like losing the running back before the year hurt, losing obviously Rock Montgomery, McKeldry, whatever you know him by, losing him, that's your anchor of your offensive line. You had some guys transfer out, that hurts. I mean, and speaking of guys transferring out, some of them moved to Mae Jemison. Mae Jemison clinched a playoff spot last night.
In 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, after going 0-10 last year. So congratulations to Coach Bradley Ball and Rico White for that quick turnaround at Mae Jemison.
0-10
They were 0-10. Now they're in the playoffs. And so that's a big time win. But
you got a kid that'll leave Anderson High to go to a team that was 0-10. You somebody knows something.
Yeah.
That'd have been shaky.
Well, I think kudos to Coach Rico Weac and the relationships that they were able to build with the guys.
Yeah. They followed the coach.
And I actually talked to Coach Ball last night, and they made the playoffs, but he said they don't really have the type players you think they have. As far as you got the 3 transfers, but other than that, he said they just did it with a lot of hard work. So, those they don't have a superstar on offense. They didn't have a guy. It's like, wow. He said they just go out there and get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, and I went and watched them play in a OTA versus Pell City earlier in the summertime, and it was just the energy that they played with.
The whole culture's changing.
Yeah, and like offensively, it's going to take some time, but the way Coach Ball already had his defense playing, and like they got some, don't let him fool you, they got some players on defense. They got some defensive linemen, edge guys that are anybody in the state would probably want.
Actually, they got 3.
Yeah.
They got a kid came in from Tennessee. I ain't gonna say he's just as good as the other 2, but he's not.
Well, you got Harris kid from Anniston,
Yeah.
the Swain kid from Anniston, and then the guy that moved in from Tennessee. And all 3 of them are over 6 feet. They run like deer, and they're pretty physical, and they're getting better at using their hands. So they got 3 guys that play on the edge, linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive end. No, they're not saying.
What?
So,
one's a sophomore.
Yeah.
And 2. Let's see, is it 2 sophomores and one is a junior?
None of them are seniors.
I know Swain is a junior.
I love to hear that.
Swain's a junior.
Yeah.
The Harris kid's a sophomore, and I think the kid that moved in from Tennessee is a sophomore.
Yeah. And see, the thing with Harris, for me, with rankings and all, I think he's the #1 edge in the country in his class. So he's like 6'5", 220. I mean, and I've seen a picture of him. I was like, wow, man. He's really putting on some muscle. And like I said, he's only going to get better. So, and with Swain, honestly, Swain is probably a better overall player as far as can play linebacker or defensive end. Where I think Harris is a pure edge rusher. So I know the coaches, both of them got Missouri offers this week, Swain and Harris. So they probably got like almost every SEC offer. I know Harris does. I think that they is. So he's probably putting in like 20 offers right now.
No, and he's like
good.
I said, he can play. Like he can absolutely.
He really can.
He's got the frame. If they want to put weight on him to do that, or if they want to keep him as an edge rush guy, he can do that. But I mean, he just.
I haven't seen a guy in college football yet. Lately. They used to have D4 type kid.
D4 could play.
Yeah, he come off that line. And so I'm trying to figure out that kid you guys talking about right here. He got that kind of talent.
He does.
No, D4, little quick story. His older brother, James Ford, they went to Oxford at one time. I don't know if you remember that or not, before they moved out to St. Clair County.
Yeah.
James Ford was in my grade. We grew up playing Little League football against each other. And so, we also played at PE and stuff. And we were, like really good friends. My only fight I ever got in at school, though. We were playing football in PE, and we were just competitive. Yeah. Got into it, and that was when Mr. Caldwell and Mr. Buchanan or Coach Buchanan and Coach Caldwell were. They were both at the middle school as the assistant principal at that time, and they were so mad at us. But they also laughed at us. They're like, "Y'all are best friends, but we got to punish y'all." But I think they made us do like 300 burpees. I was like, just give me the paddle.
Yeah, come on.
Give me the paddle. I don't want to do no burpees.
That's too easy.
But, Anniston probably going to sure up the 3 seed next week. Yeah. Like I said, whoever finishes the 2 seed out, and I know that region is really good. You don't want to finish the 4 seed. You don't want to play Jackson. Jackson, there's people saying that Jackson could be the best 4A team in the entire state. You don't want to see Jackson, but I think Anniston has a chance if Coach Rico Jackson can do what they're supposed to do to go down there and have a chance to win a 3-2 matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson's got the quarterback Landon Duckworth. He's committed to South Carolina. About 6'3", 6'4", very athletic, has a strong arm. Then they got actually a receiver that's 6'3" or 6'4". They're starting to pick up some SEC offers as well. So, like I say, they probably are, in my opinion, better than Andalusia. I mean, this is what I think.
You're speaking now.
I'm for real, man. Jackson's the truth.
Better than Andalusia.
I think they are.
Are they better than Hanley?
That'd be a good game.
Man, Hanley's just so good up front on both sides of the ball that it's just going to be tough for anybody to come and beat them. And they still have athletes around those guys that can play football. It's going to be tough for me to see a 4A football team be able to beat Hanley. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen. We saw how they played and how they kind of got handled pretty easily by Central Clay County. But
Central Clay is like a different breed.
They are different.
Andalusia, Hanley.
Huh?
Andalusia. Hanley. Hanley and Andalusia. I'm trying to figure out. I know Anderson, when Anderson played Andalusia, it was just it was bad. But if you go back and look at the game, Anderson actually tried to punt the ball, and I think it went backwards.
Yeah, like it was 7-0 at halftime. Aniston had missed a pick six right before the half. Like Aniston had every opportunity to kind of be in that game and actually be leading at halftime. And then in the second half, just things happen. Like
that's what I said.
But here's the thing: we used to talk about it all the time. Special teams is a phase of the game. Yeah. You can lose football games on special teams. You can also win football games on special teams. When you're playing a team like Andalusia, you've got to put everything together and play. And that has been the thing. And I'm not saying anything that I wouldn't tell Rico Jackson to his face.
He saw it. He was there.
But at times this year, it felt like Aniston felt like they could show up and win the football game and not play as hard as they could possibly play or as polished as they could play. And you know, that's the thing with me is, and I've told, like, they got to show up to play. Like you can't live off, and that's when you get your program moving in the right direction. All right, when you start seeing lulls in program, it's because the people that came after the people that helped get the program where it was at, they think, well, we're just going to live off of what these other people are done. It ain't like that. It don't. There's no pass down thing. You got to work. You got to work. You got to work in the weight room. You got to play the game. You got to do these things, and like. You got to work hard. These offensive linemen that's got to play right now, they got to step up. But here's another thing: Aniston has went younger and younger as the year goes along. Yeah. So don't be surprised in 1 or 2 years if Aniston is right back competing for a chance to win a state championship in Class 4.
Because Aniston always had the athletes. So
always.
Yeah, I mean, always from back in me and Gary played.
That's right. Always.
So. I think they get it together. Like I say, the Hurd kid from Aniston, I think he's going to be really good. Jaden Hurd.
Yep.
And then they got an offensive lineman that they already pairing to Rockwell. So Stephante Bailey, I think that's his name.
talked to Coach Rico Jackson this past week, and they may have started an 8th grader on the offensive line. They already starting, I think they already had a sophomore and a freshman starting, and they got an 8th grader that may have got some snaps this past week too.
Oh, wow.
And so they're going to be really big. You know, we knew Aniston was moving in the right direction when they were playing Rock when he was real young and all those guys, and you're like, hey, this group stays together, they're going to be dangerous.
And they kind of remind me of the team. Remember when Webber was kind of young, and they was taking it on the chin. Yeah. And some of that age group kept on coming up, just getting better and better. I think it was Jet Smith's group. And I think that's how Anderson's going to be.
I do too.
Same thing. We just Oxford group is just like that.
Yeah.
That group that you're looking at right now is the group that was getting head tossed it around here for a couple of years. They still gel together. Yeah. But what gets me is Miguel English got a son.
Oh, yeah. I know you're talking about.
Wait.
I seen him at the game last night.
Listen, and this is coming from the king. Only thing I see that kid gonna have to work on is his inside of him. I mean, trouble. He's not a trouble kid, but he just got to learn how to.
Mischievous.
Yes, he gonna have to get himself. But yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. That kind of stuff like that. Get his attitude adjusted. Once he get his attitude adjusted, the sky's the limit for him.
I think it's weird because he's young.
He's young.
And so you
gotta learn. Listen, man.
If I was as good as him right now, y'all wouldn't be able to tell me nothing.
Yeah. He's good. I did a tape on him.
He's good.
Like last night, speaking like last night, Noah Lee, quarterback for JCA, came in. They start playoffs this next week. 8-0 record, threw for almost 2,000 yards and a lot of time at the end of the second half. Didn't play a whole lot. Very soft-spoken young man. But if you watched his highlights, which you've showed him on Texas Dudes, he can play. If I was as good as him and that English kid, Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell me. Like, God knew not to make me that good. God knew I couldn't handle
Hey,
it.
you know, like on that movie, what is it, Stir Crazy, when Richard Pryor, and what's his name? Yeah, we bad.
Yeah, come into prison. Actually, that movie you're talking about, when they walked in that prison.
Yeah.
I actually, when I worked at the prison, so now I had to go to that Arizona prison.
Oh, for real?
I went in that actually prison and got that frame and stuff
for
all
real?
on the wall. Yeah, man.
But the English kid, he's going to be really good. He got some good genes. Miguel was a pretty good player in his
Yeah,
own
pretty
right.
good, yeah.
But I think his son's going to be a lot better than him. I hate to tell Miguel
always the
that.
kid,
Miguel friend requested me on Facebook. I said I hope he's not watching right now, but he's going to run circles around Daddy.
I mean, he's good. I did a cut up of that kid already. He is going to be good. So.
I mean, and like, here's the thing about it. I ain't trying to toot Dex's horn, but when Dex puts you out there, all of a sudden you blow up. Like,
There's something
at
out
the beginning
there.
of the year, nobody knew about P.J. Holloway, which I had talked to Dex, and I told him, hey, this kid's got a chance. He just got something that you can't coach. He's got speed, God-given speed.
Third gear.
And ever since Dex kind of spotlighted him, his recruiting is really taken off. He's going to be, he is going to end up being one of the top prospects in the state for his class. He's got to continue to bulk up and build muscle, but if he can add some frame and start here's the thing: keep that speed and start getting north and south. Like at running back, you always want to get to the edge, but every now and then you got to stick that toe in the ground and get north and south and get what you can on some runs. And I think he'll learn that. It ain't always going to be a home run play. It ain't always going to be get to the sideline and outrun everybody. Sometimes I got to stick my foot in the ground, get that 4-yard gain, and take what I can get.
And he's going to visit South Alabama this month as well. So.
Okay, awesome. So let's go through some games. I want to say this before. I know it's been a rough year again for the Talladega Tigers and Coach Bill Smith. We talked about 54-0 last night, but their junior high team won the Talladega County Large School Championship, and so the future could be bright there. Here's the thing. And we were talking about Oxford and how they kind of took their lumps. You got to kind of have you got to have everything happen the right way if you're going to continue to be good. You got to keep people there. You got to keep the people that you got. And then, like, in this day and age, you got to get lucky and have a few good move-ins that can play.
Sure.
When you talk about Kamari Hampton, he's a difference maker for the Oxford Yellow Jackets. He's a player. You talk about Mason Mims moving in a couple of years ago. Obviously, he's a difference maker for the Oxford Yellow Jackets. But then you got guys like Keenan Brett, who is Oxford through and through.
That kid, he had a good game last night. Sorry, but he's dominant. I mean, he's got good size. But if you see the size of Clay Talkville's offensive line,
Did you see it? They got the blind side. That guy come over here standing 6'10". What is it, 6'10"?
6'9",
Big boy.
370.
Big boy.
That boy is huge.
Keenan was like, man, he was like making plays
Getting
all
the
over the
biz.
field. I mean, he was.
Well-
I seen one play. I was like, golly.
I'm gonna
Well,
say this.
I want to apologize. Well, go ahead.
That big kid for Clay Chalk. Just imagine now. You're a defensive linebacker. I know you don't care what you hit. You hit everything that come through there. That big kid, I saw him. They did a pull play with it, when he pulled and come up in that hole, and that quarterback ain't do nothing but step back and give him time to pull and come up in that hole. Who gonna get in front of all that?
They done wrapped him up. He's that big, but he can still move good enough to run. He plays tackle, correct?
Yes.
They ran dart. They ran what coaches call dart plate and wrap him up in there, and so he's mano a mano with a linebacker.
Somebody.
I tell you what I'm gonna do.
What you gonna do?
Chop him down. Make a pile.
See, but when you chop his big old foot down,
He falls on top of you.
That's fine. Them calls a pile.
And the quarterback is gone.
Yeah.
He's running right behind.
I
He's
mean,
gone.
you got to take him on with your outside, keeping the outside shoulder free, turn him back to the other end, so linebacker should be unblocked.
I would have told somebody, please, when y'all see him pull, run with it. Tackle him.
But yeah, definitely, you're gonna definitely chase. Like,
a big
that, if you're gonna run tackle dart, I'm gonna chase, get flat down the line of scrimmage, and I'm gonna tell my backside backer to stay at home just in case quarterback pulls it. But like, in that, it's not even a fake. It's not even play action, and quarterback's just following anyway. So
You see, if you watch the film, you'll watch him do that last night. And every time that quarterback would go back, he getting 5, 6, 10 yards a run.
Yeah, it wasn't that like you say, those 4 and 5 yard runs. You know, they
First down.
They come in handy.
I gotta
first
say,
down.
Keenan Britt, like after watching every Oxford game this year, because we've carried every Oxford game, whenever I saw his rankings come out, I questioned a little bit. Like, great kid, great player, but I questioned a little bit. Like is he getting all this hype because he is Kenny Britt's brother?
No, he getting it because of him.
And then I watched the film this year, and I need to apologize. Miss Tanya, don't kill me. Don't kill me, Miss Tanya. Miss Tanya, hey.
That's a whole heart attack Eric got on his plate.
Ain't no doubt about it.
Y'all talking about
Ain't
my
no
plate.
doubt
Look
about
at
it.
that. We
Ain't
got
no
a
doubt
mountain of
about
bacon over there.
But I don't, Kenny Britt Sr., don't kill me. Miss Tanya, don't. I'm more worried about Miss Tanya than I am Kenny Britt Sr. Miss Tanya don't play.
She don't.
All right.
She don't.
But I question that. But after watching the film, and like you said, when you get an opportunity, like Pretenders, Pretenders shy down last night. Contenders do. He balled out last night against elite competition.
Listen, he was slamming kids down. He even broke up a pass play. I don't know if you've seen that. He broke up a pass play. I was like, wow, I got that on tape. So
I don't want to just toot his horn because I know he deserved it. But that defense as a whole last night. And
the Jones kid on the other side, that defensive end, has had a great season as well for the Oxford Yellow Jackets.
Listen, and I guess that's true. Sire.
Okay.
Yeah,
Look, Sire hit one last night, and I'm telling you, I felt it in the living room. You know, I'm talking about, hey, I love that kind of contact.
Yeah. And here's the thing about Sire is Sire has played offense the last couple of years. He's been a guy that has been one of their better receivers for the last couple of years. But because of duty and different things like that, they moved into safety. He's done a very good job.
Hey, listen.
Didn't he commit somewhere for baseball? Or was it somebody else?
Them Sire kids, I don't tell him, he'd probably be somewhere. He's a good kid, comes from a good family. The stock is good, the bloodline is good. One thing about Sire, you put him out there, he's gonna compete. But I want to say this about him. You know, it's about 7 or 8 of them. They all look alike, and that's the baby. And I remember him when he was just about 5 or 6 years old. And now you're gonna love this. And they went to church over here at First Baptist, I think. Yeah. So the preacher was preaching, and then they did a prayer. They were doing the prayer now, and they said, "Little Sire dropped his head." It come down and, okay, now let's go drink some beer. That's it. Amen. Cut it off. That's a young kid, man. I'm just telling you, man. I love them both. I always have. 2 years ago, I think I walked in the pep rally with them, and I walked in with Sire, right beside Sire. And the thing about that was, everybody was on Oxford because everybody left and this and that and all kinds of stuff, and they were dogging the kids out. And I wanted, as an alumni, as a former Yellow Jacket football player, I went there and just let them kids know, man, I'm not going to ever turn on you guys. And see, I knew they'll start jumping back on the bandwagon when they start winning. Everybody love to win. But you got to lose some games to build character.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, hey, you want to talk about jumping on the bandwagon? I got a story for you. I hope he's not watching. I really don't know who he is. But last night we had our pregame show, and I show up at White Plains, and it's like right after kickoff. Like it's 5 after 7. And I'm pulling in, I park, and somebody pulls in next to me, and I got to get some stuff out of my car. I got to change, put some warmer clothes on. And this guy looks at me, he said, "You not coaching no more?" I said, "No, man, I resigned in February."
Hey, you just said, "Yeah, man, I'm running late."
Are we winning?
What you mean?
I said, "Well, a lot of fair weather." Hey, but that's good. Hey, I am so excited for that community. But you talk about fans jumping on and off the bandwagon.
They do.
Hey, listen. There was a lot of speaking of bandwagon jumping, there was a lot of people that jumped off that Colorado bandwagon last Friday night.
Listen.
They left so fast they couldn't even.
They need to get themselves together. But I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know how that happened, but it did.
29-0. Well, we had a game similar to it last night. Our game of the week last night. We ain't even talked about a game that I thought, man, why are we carrying this game? It ain't gonna be a good game. Let's swap it to Mumford White Plains. No offense to my Ohatchee people.
Yeah.
But then I turn on the game. I'm watching White Plains and Mumford. It's a great ball game, 21. I turn on the game, and Ohatchee's getting beat 26-8 by Glencoe. Scott Martin done rode in with the Yellow Jackets from Glencoe back to the creek bank and had Glencoe ready to play.
Now that right there was.
And I said, and here's what I'm thinking. Like I told him last night, like my heart is going, man, Chris Finley's supposed to be coming in and doing an interview with us, and he getting eyes scratched out right now. And I'm like, this ain't good. Like, this ain't good. Like, this is going to keep Ohatchee from getting in the playoffs. Then all of a sudden, second half turns around, 34-point swing, 42-26 was the final after being down 26-8 now. A different team. Nate Jones, Kobe Hester, Jake Robinson, the quarterback for them. Different ball game after halftime. I don't know what happened. I don't know what Chris Finley said. I don't know how that happened. But the pep talk at halftime.
That's all American pep talk.
Yeah, like, so my dad, speaking of pep talk, the guy that my dad's on a business trip with, they were talking about they came down to Ohatchee this past year when we went bird hunting. Yeah, at Otter Creek in Ohatchee. Well, that's the same guy. That's the same. I didn't either till I went. It's beautiful. I'll tell you this. That's the place that Tua went whenever he was drafted into the NFL. That him and his family were at Otter Creek. Or I think that's the name of it.
I need to call out there and find out why I need to get out there.
Yeah. An unbelievable place. Beautiful. And great bird hunting. And like bird hunting's the way to go. You get to shoot all day long. Yeah, if you like to shoot, that
they got some quail or pheasant.
They got quail, pheasant. They got it all.
See what I'm talking about? Tell them, man, it's all right to let me out there.
Ain't no doubt about it. Because then you get to cook it.
Yeah. Yes.
Quail good.
I love quail.
But so we went out there and I showed him my pep talk, some of my pregame speeches when I was at White Plains. And he was like, I called him last night. They were all hanging out. He said, I still remember them pregame speech. I said, well, the new coach, his pregame speeches are actually working because they one game away from making the playoff. I said, he got it figured out. But they're doing a good job. But whatever Chris Finley said to the Ohatchee Indians, obviously it worked, and Glencoe ran out of steam in the second half.
Let me tell you
He
something.
did a Nick Saban thing.
Oh, okay.
That's probably what happened.
Cameras are not allowed in the locker room at halftime. You got to go in and say what you need to say.
Cameras shouldn't be loud in the locker room,
They shouldn't be in there. But some teams got them. Some got them because they want to be saved. But after that conversation right there, I guarantee you wouldn't want the camera in there.
No.
I'm throwing chairs. I'm biting dogs, cats, and I'm saying
you
some things. I'm doing everything I can do to get them fired up to go back out here and win this ball game. I guarantee you. It worked.
It obviously worked.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding there.
Yeah.
But so that was a great ball game right there. Hadn't even talked about it, but going through some other games and like I said, I know you're used to seeing all the graphics and all that stuff. No graphics. We tech guy struggling
I got
today.
to apologize to some people.
Who you got to apologize to?
You know, my birthday was on the 19th the other day.
I didn't know that.
No. That's why I want to.
How old are you?
Let me finish what I'm saying here. I want to apologize to the people out there in TV world that I talked to the governor. I know it's supposed to be on a national holiday. She's still upset with me and Buckethead because we were trying to get a casino put in Oxford. So that's the only reason you guys had to go to work on my birthday. But I apologize. We'll get that together. Come next October the 19th. We're going to you better take off. But right now the governors are still upset with me and Buckethead.
How old are you, 60?
What you say?
How old are you, 60?
I'm just 45.
All right.
You know I thought about 45.
Listen, y'all. When you get old, like Gary, you start having issues. All right. Hey,
Gary's the same age.
listen. When you have a vehicle, you start having issues. If you need new tires on your vehicle, you need to go see Advantage Tire and Alignment in Welborn. Speaking of Welborn, they are rolling right now.
Yes.
You need to go see my guys at Advantage Tire and Alignment in Welborn, and they will take care of all your tire needs there for you. So make sure you do that. And so going through some games, we've talked a lot. We got a comment here. Guy, if you've been checking us out earlier, we know White Plains has improved. And no doubt about it.
We said that earlier. You might have just came tuned in on us, but one thing about it, Coach Tyree just said, hey, they on the right track, and we are proud of
Coach
White
Jennings
Plains.
has them playing extremely hard, and that's the thing that has stood out to me. They've got some new guys out there, which is huge. And that was kind of like I was hoping bring in some different energy and get more guys out. Having Coach Chris Randall on staff has helped with that as well. Their staff is doing a good job. Their players are doing a good job. Their fans showed out last night. They are playing. They have gotten better from start of the year to now. If they were playing like they're playing right now, I think that they win the first 2 games of the year. And so look, and their schedule don't do them any favor when you got to play Anniston, Jacksonville, and Handley. You don't get any favor there, no. And so they're going to continue to get better. They're probably going to go down to 3A, which is going to help them out. And Coach Jennings, I think this team will be a playoff team. Look, man, they had they're ninth graders. They're freshmen, along with the play of obviously senior Dylan Barksdale is why they're where they're at. They got a freshman offensive lineman, Hudson Inglesby, probably 6'1", probably 240 pounds as a freshman. He might be bigger than 6'1". His dad's 6'6". Played at Georgia. Power lifter.
What's his last name?
Inglesby.
I remember his dad's name, Tommy, right?
Yep.
I remember his story, not to interrupt you. Because, he competed in the strongest man competition.
Yes.
So, Gold's Gym, back in the day, he came in, I think put 5 or 6 plates on each side. He did squats, 10 sets of 10 with those.
No, he's like built like
I warm up with it.
Dude,
then he came back in the afternoon because that's when I was like really working out in shape. He worked out again.
Yeah, I warm up with that right there.
Dude, have you seen him here lately? He's still huge. Like he's still a big man.
I ain't seen him since like the 90s.
He's still a big man.
Oh, wow.
And his son's really big too. Like that's another kid that I need to show you. He's really, like I said, 9th grader, got thrusted into the starting lineup, has really came along, played better. Taylor Brown, another 9th grader, played inside linebacker for the White Plains Wildcats. You got Bryson Cheatwood, the cornerback who had the pick 6 last week, had another interception last night. They got some younger guys that are playing. But like when you talk about White Plains, you got to also talk about the job that Mumford did and the job that Tank Edmondson, B.J. Anderson, and all the Mumford lines did last night. Because that felt like not just playoffs, but that felt like a must-win for Mumford.
Most teams played like that.
It felt like, but if you can read between the lines, it felt like a must-win for the Mumford lines, and so looking at some other games in the state though, in Class 7A, Austin beat Bob Jones, Central Phoenix City beat Auburn in a game that people were really anticipating, 41-20. So a game that really wasn't close. Davidson beat Foley, 52-41.
Their running back had 400 yards for Davidson last night. Well, all purpose. Six touchdowns. He's committed. Coastal Carolina. DJ Butler. He's a really good player.
Wow.
All purpose.
Yeah.
Fairhope beat Alma Bryant. Florence beat Grissom. Hoover beat Chelsea. Huntsville beat Sparkman. Big win for Charles McLean and the Huntsville football team. James Clemens, 58-18 over Albertville. Mary Montgomery beat Daphne 34-7. Y'all understand that Mary Montgomery was awful.
Yeah.
Awful. And now they are
one of the best teams in the state.
That's how it is. You got to turn it around.
Like I say, they've probably been building up, and now
you take them lumps.
And so congratulations to them on a great year. Percy Julian beat Prattville 39-35. Spain Park beat Hewitt Trustful 50-29. That was a big win for Spain Park. Huge win for Spain Park. Thompson ended up going on to beat Tuscaloosa County 39-0. But that game was close for a little while. Like I said, I don't know if Thompson's as dominant as they've been. And Vestavia Hills 50-0 over Oak Mountain. Oak Mountain, man, they were moving in the right direction, and they've kind of. I'll be honest with you, it's tough to win at Oak Mountain in 7A football. But they were moving in the right direction, and the wheels kind of fall off. In Class 6A, Athens beat Columbia 49-14. Ben Russell beat Briarwood 25-21 in a really good ball game. Bessemer City beat Central Tuscaloosa 28-21. Carver Montgomery 39-21 over Sidney Lanier. Clay Chalkville, we talked about that game, 28-14. just a 21-0 hole. Oxford came back, played really well in the second half.
Really
And like we talked about, there's no moral victories. But if I'm Coach Adams, I feel really, really good about the way my team played. And especially, like we've already talked about, the way they tackled in space.
Yeah, that was like, man, that was amazing to see. For me, I know we already talked about a little bit, their defensive line, the way they was able to compete with Clay Chalkwell's offensive line. I was like,
size.
And like I say, I hate to harp on this, but Britt really showed out last night.
I mean, you can harp on him. He's earned it.
Listen, not just that. You show hard. Because when you were down 21 and nothing, you either tuck your head and go and die out, or you can come and perform and try to get yourself, get back
Another
into
one
it.
of those halftime speeches that we were talking about.
I already told you who the coach of the year is for me. Because I'm talking about he didn't run. When you lose talent, you go into somebody like these kids going into these different schools that even go at ring hunting. Coach came in.
Tell us how you really feel.
I feel like that. And when Coach come in and say, "Hey, this is what I got. This is my team. These are the kids I'm gonna win with or lose with," and you build with it. That's a coach.
I don't know if you know, like when you're filming, it's really hard to say a defensive lineman is going to stand out. I mean, you can see it right there on the field.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I was a quarterback, running back, receiver. It's easy to see. But when you see a defensive lineman, I mean, just showing out like that catches your attention. I was like, wow.
Like you talked about Coach Adams, and I've said it before, kind of got the raw end of the deal. His first year at Oxford, a lot of people graduated, a lot of people moved out, and really didn't give a chance. And coaching is already difficult as it is. It's already a profession that takes a toll on you, family wise, health wise, all that stuff. Spiritual wise, I felt like, and even right now, I'm coaching flag football, and I just like to win. I don't care. If me and you go out in the parking lot and have a race right now, I'm gonna do everything I can to win. I'm gonna pull a hamstring, but I'm competitive, and I think it's one of my best qualities. It's also one of my worst qualities. It brings out, and so I think coaching is a profession. It can bring out the absolute best in you. It can also bring out the absolute worst in you. And to be able to come in to a place who don't want to hear excuses, because Oxford don't want to hear nothing. He never made any excuses.
Nope.
They don't want to hear anything about any of that, but to come in and to continue just to grind and do the job that he's done. And last night, like I said, there's no moral victories, but Clay Chalkwell's one of the best teams in the state, no matter what classification.
That's right.
And fell behind 21-0, and your team showed a lot of guts and a lot of grit, and I think that starts at the top, the way they came back out and competed in the second half.
And the offense, Clay Chalkwell offense, didn't score. After that 21 points, the defense, actually, they got some turnovers. I mean, that's how they got their points. But that defense, Oxford defense was on the field most of the time last night. And they got cool. They got, you got to give them. But what I like about the whole deal, oh, man, I'm going to keep getting called off. I'm on TV, y'all. Quit calling me. I'm on TV. All right, so listen. I want y'all to have understanding. What I'm trying to say is it was a journey to get there.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, you were getting your head popped, but you were playing teams like Thompson.
Yeah.
You got your boy coming out of Birmingham. Everybody was coming over. And they were jumping, Oxford the Sires. I said, okay, well, give them little young guys time. Yeah. Give them time. And you got to be a good man to be able to sit around and keep your kids grounded and say, hey, man, day's going to change. Yeah. And the sun's going to come up tomorrow. You can lose a ball game and wake up the next day. You're going to be still here.
Yeah. Oh, the sun's about to come up for Oxford for a while. Yeah. They got that facility over there that's second to none.
And we just got to be talking about Miguel's son. That's down the road.
There's definitely talent in the cupboard. The cupboard is not empty.
That's right.
They got another kid out there that's going to be really good, too, Elijah Malone.
Malone, and that's Kevin Malone, Rodney Malone.
Yeah,
that's that bloodline. I'm telling y'all, the kids, they got kids in the system.
Yep.
Ain't got no Mason off in there. I don't retire.
Not yet.
I don't retire.
Not yet.
Not yet. Terry's still making them. Gary's still able to make them too. So they
coming.
have all that.
They coming.
They coming.
All right. So Fort Payne beats Buckhorn 23-14. Fort Payne, a team that looked like, I've said it before, in that Jamboree game, it looked like Fort Payne was going to be absolutely terrible. Yeah. Oxford made them look anemic offensively, and they've been a team that has played really well. Gaston City beat Lee of Huntsville 41-0. Gardendale, Gaston City won their region, so that's a big deal for them. Gardendale 59, Woodlawn 20, Hartselle 20, Decatur 19.
Oh, wow.
Game that was a lot closer than probably the experts thought. Helena, and I think that's a game that Oxford wants back. I think Oxford, if they play again, is 2 touchdowns better than Hartselle. Yeah. And so I think that's a game they would definitely want back. Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, 60, Paul Bryant 13. Helena 49-0. Helena plays for a championship, a region championship next week, which is surprising. I never thought that Helena would be a football school.
They got some nice athletes over there.
They do.
They got a running back, Jordan Washington. It's kind of he's kind of like Cornejo / Bothwell. Mm-hmm. He's like in that mode.
He's in
he's big, a big
run.
back,
Okay,
but he's really fast.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Homewood 31, Pelham 21, Hueytown 35, Northridge 14, May Jemison 19, Hazel Green 14, McAdory 42, Brookwood 6, Mountain Brook 54, Monomore Jordan 14, Murphy 34, Baldwin County 20, Muscle Shoals 34, Coleman 14, Parker 41, Minor 7, Pell City 68, Huffman Vikings 0. Pell City with their first win of the year.
I bet Gross showed out that game.
I'm pretty sure Gross probably put up some big numbers. Yeah. He is a great player for Pell City. Pike Road 52, Stanhope Elmore 14, Pinson Valley 28, Shades Valley 25.
Ooh, that was a good game.
That was a good game. That right there probably sealed up the playoffs for Pinson Valley and put Shades Valley out of the playoffs. Spanish Fort 45, Robertsdale nothing, St. Paul's 21, Blunt 0, and Theodore 42, McGill Tulane 7 there. Looking at Class 5A, Arab in a big matchup with Gunnersville, Arab 29-19. Coach Lee Osment continues to get the most out of Arab.
Listen, I used to tease Buckethead about that Arab team. And, I used to say some stuff on TV that I don't need to say again, but I guarantee you, Arab is doing the thing, man. I didn't know. I apologize, Arab. Thank y'all for hanging in there.
Oh yeah, they play. They got him a coach that's playing well.
Yeah.
What'd you say about him on TV?
Can't say it, man. You get me in trouble, man.
You like lettuce on your burger?
Man, I told him that. Stop, man. I'm gonna go back to the all laughing last night. Oh, you better stop. Don't do me like that.
Arab 29, Gunnersville 19.
Oh,
that's
man.
a huge win because Gunnersville they beat Southside. We know how good Southside is. They beat them 10-7 early in the year, and so Gunnersville is a team that was ranked in Class 5A. A huge win for the Arab Knights. BC Rain 39, LaFleur 7, Boaz 35, Sardis 21, Carroll 35, Greenville 32, Central Clay County 49, Beauregard 7. I was talking, and I'm going to get into some of the regions like before last night. We'll look and see what happened, but I talked about Central Clay. Y'all seen that new meme where it shows the kids singing in the play and all of them sound terrible except for the one that sounds really good? Y'all saw it? Yeah. So, like, in that region, Central Clay County, they're the kid that sings really good and the teacher's happy. The rest of them, that region is not real good. The region's not very tough.
I think the boy kid had 5 touchdowns last night.
Wow.
So, seen it on Facebook.
Another guy that you spotlighted, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, you spotlighted him, a very good player for Central Clay County. Charles Henderson 35, Headland 14, Demopolis 32, Hopewell 2, East Limestone 24, West Point 17, Elmore County 40, Valley 34, and somewhat of an upset. I'm telling you, Elmore County was terrible. All right, when I say they were terrible, they got shut out by the White Plains Wildcats 2 years ago. We were able to beat them. We were able to beat them 3 years ago. We were able to beat them. They were on our schedule for 2 years. They are a program that's definitely moving in the right direction. Eufaula 17, Rehoboth 6, Fairfield 31, Winona 27, Fairview 14, Lawrence County 7, Faith Academy 29, Williamson nothing.
I'm surprised by that. I mean, Faith is good. You're going to see one of the Dex dudes, one of their players. I mean, but Williams is loaded on defense, so I'm just, like, kind of surprised by that score.
No doubt about it. John Carroll 35, Jasper 12, Leeds in a huge matchup last night. A matchup that I picked Moody in. Leeds 24, Moody 21.
That was a good game.
So Leeds got beat by Southside a couple of weeks ago. Moody plays Southside next week. With a win for Southside, they can win the region outright. Yeah. If not, we got a three-way tie in that region as well. It would be a mess, no doubt about it.
You know, Buckethead wanted to know when the real Moody was going to show up. I don't know when they're going to show up.
Well, next week they better show up.
Yeah.
Got a big game next week. Marbury 32, Shelby County 28, Ramsey 45, Hayden nothing, Russellville 56, Ardmore nothing, Scottsboro 49, Douglas 28, Selma 36, Jemison 18, Southside Gadsden in a game that was 42-0 at one point, 49-21 over Alexandria. Alexandria, we've talked about it already. I mean, I think Alexandria's having a rough year.
They are.
A really, really rough year.
What were you saying? Southside Gaston?
What?
Southside Gaston?
Uh-huh.
No, I always call Southside the Southside to come down here and play off. That ain't the same Southside.
That's the same Southside.
Why are they saying Southside Gaston? Isn't that Rainbow City?
Yeah.
That's what I didn't know they called them Southside Gaston. I'm from saying Rainbow City.
I'm saying you just thought they were Southside?
I just thought they were Southside. I played ball against Southside. I never known them to say Southside Gaston.
I always said Southside Gaston, yeah.
We went out there and played them in baseball and everything. I just knew Southside.
Take your hat off real quick.
Never.
Like that neck. What them kids used to do, what people used to say.
I knew they was over there on Rainbow City over there, but yeah. No, you have to throw Southside Gas now. That's what it meant. All
right, here's one that surprised me. St. Clair County 18, Lincoln 11. Roger actually called that game.
Where's he at? Right, Lincoln and Gas.
Hey, Roger.
He drinking coffee. Colombo.
Roger, come here real quick. We need you. You called the Lincoln St. Clair County game last night, correct? We gonna need and make sure you hold it up close. You can sit down over there beside Dex.
Yes.
I need that game. Surprised me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was very surprised by the outcome of that game.
Right.
What happened there? What happened in that game?
What happened in that game was that St. Clair County was ready to play football, and Lincoln Golden Bears was not ready to play football. They come out and I think was going through the motions, thinking, "Hey, St. Clair County's never any good, you know." Well, guess what? St. Clair County's improved a lot. It was at home, homecoming, packed out. I mean, they brought a huge crowd. That's the first time I've been to St. Clair County ever.
Yeah,
at the field, yeah. Never played there, never been there.
Yeah.
And so they packed that place out.
That's great for high school football.
It was. It was a great high school. And I'm going to tell you what's happening there. They're going to get better.
They're
growing.
Yeah,
That
Tyler
area,
Robinson, Oxford graduate, done a really good job.
They had a ton of kids out. That area is growing in there.
Yeah.
That's a team. Watch out for those guys. They're going to get better.
I think you're right, but that I mean,
great facility, man. Great football field. Beautiful. Sets out. That's a great.
As
that's
big
a
of a win
football
as that
place,
was
man.
for St. Clair County, though, that was a tough loss for the Lincoln Golden Bears.
It was. And after the game, man, you could tell St. Clair County was celebrating. It was a big
Big thing.
It was
Big.
It was a turning point in their program. Okay?
Yeah.
They get thumped by Lincoln every year.
No doubt about it.
Thumped by a lot.
It's been rough.
It's been rough. Well, you know what? They just turned the table on
But
it, and they beat them, man.
But here's the thing about St. Clair County is it's been rough. But I mean, they're not too many years removed from playing for a state championship when Matt Glover was there.
That's
correct. They finished second in the state.
That
I think
is correct.
It's been 2017, 2018,
Right,
something like that.
right.
So you're only 5-6 years removed from
correct.
playing for a state championship.
And I think, and they've had to kind of back up and kind of restart over, which happens sometimes. And
I was glad to see T-Rob, Coach Tyler Robinson, come back to the high school level and coach. I think he's going to be really good. I think not only is he going to build good football players, but I think he's going to build great men, and so I'm excited to see what he's going to do.
Some really young, good football players, younger, good football players.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about the number 55, an offensive lineman. He was a man. I'm not sure. We didn't have a whole lot of info on them.
I'll find out about it.
Find out about 55, Dex. That's one to kind of look at. I know as far as the prototype, he's definitely
Got the
there.
size,
And I mean, he looked pretty good in high school. But check him out. Number
let me look him up real quick.
Kind of a different type last name, but I watched that kid, and boy, he was pushing guys around, and that's really what won for St. Clair County. Their right side of the line just pushed Lincoln around all night long. They run at will on them.
Oh,
and Lincoln has gave up runs all year long. That's been a terrible.
We continue to talk about, man, like, even though the game has changed, games are still won up front. And what you just said.
Night, man, I've watched Lincoln get whipped by two of those teams. Springville whipped them too. Just like that.
Number 55 for St. Clair County, his name, good luck saying his name. Look at it.
It's a different
Lucas Makrakasi.
What does it say? How big he
is? He's 6'2", 260.
Yeah. He's a guard.
He is a senior.
Yeah.
Man child.
Yeah, he's a guard.
But I will.
He'll play college ball. It may not be at the highest level, but he'll play ball somewhere.
No doubt about it.
That's where Javarius Johnson played ball too. I didn't even realize that until I started researching that at Auburn.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, it's hard to believe, in '93 they won a 2A state championship. St. Clair County did. They were 2A.
It's crazy.
In '93.
They finna move up. They're growing out there.
Eric, they used to battle Pleasant Valley a lot during those days. That was a big rivalry. I mean, it's hard to get used to all these regions.
It's hard.
The way they change them up.
The way they change them up.
Schools growing from 2A to 5A.
Well, you think about them competing at the 2A level, and now they're having to compete at the 5A level.
Right.
But it's difficult to sustain success whenever you're growing like that.
But as far as closing out the year, Lincoln, man, that's a team that, boy, everyone's got to scratch their head about what's going on there. Fans are. Too many good athletes to be playing like they're playing and getting that. You know what I'm saying? Something's been lost, whether it's in the locker room. I don't know.
The locker room
don't play hard all the time, and it's evident. Last night, it's like after they got. I mean, it was like they deer in the headlight, just kind of going through the motions. And that's not the way you play football. And I've watched them all year, and it's the way they react to certain things. Penalties just go lower. Hadn't cleaned it up at all.
I mean, unfortunately, it always falls on coaches, but they Satter's a great guy, and great coach, and they have guys on their staff. They have a really good staff. They always.
Sometimes people are trying to understand that. That's right. It's high level guy right there, and they're not coachable. They're not going to perform. Okay,
It could be more like the team sometimes. I mean,
That's just a ball. Yeah. You can kind of tell when a team plays like that. That's a program. They're in a tough area. Lead, smooth, but hey, who knows?
Yeah.
They start late.
No doubt about it. I think you're right. I think you're right.
They look very well coached, not a lot of mistakes, got run plays in, made stupid mistakes, snap all over the head and stuff like that. But as far as they look a lot like Springfield.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another team that way.
No. Coach Holcomb, Coach Owen, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. That's a bad thing. Southside's moving right direction. We got Southside people watching. Sorry, but how long are they going to be able to hold Coach Holcomb there? Because I think one of the better coaches in the state. No, they played next week. They went out right because they beat 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they lost quarterback, but plug and play. Kudos to them. Guys stepped up and back up really well right now. So.
But anyway, we'll see. I think they got a good future. They're young, got a lot of good kids, behind. They made good adjustments and they coaches. They'll figure that out all season. You got a lot of kids out.
They are young. You are. They got some older guys playing.
Those older guys might not be the right guys.
But looking at their schedule, they got Leeds next week. Beauregard. That's hard to win. Yeah, I think they'll beat Beauregard. Yeah. You're exactly right.
Can't make that. You know what I'm saying? 6 more 5. Don't finish this season.
No doubt about it. Yeah. You're exactly right. They got facilities. Yeah. I think you're right. Lincoln plays throw and great facilities. Good people in Lincoln. I appreciate that. Going on St. Clair County, talked about that 18-11 Lincoln. Sylacauga, the streak is over, 38-28. They beat Tallahassee. What is going on in Tallahassee?
I don't know, man. Actually, years ago, they did that. So I think they got 4 days back there. So
we got that echo. Hey, give us 1 second. I'm figuring out why we have echo. I see it. Hey, turn yours on. Let's see what's going on there. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check. Is it going? Is that plugged up? Something coming back through. Give us 1 second. Let me get the audio fixed. I'm gonna put on a few.
That's Buckethead messing with the auto down there.
Ain't no doubt. Tech guys messing up all the way in.
Yeah.
All right, so we got it fixed somehow or another. I don't know how.
We just told you he was down there messing with it.
I had to turn something off.
Yeah.
That's exactly. He's fishing this morning. Sorry, Joker. All right, looking back at American in Class 4A, American Christian 51, Sipsey Valley 29, Andalusia 27, Booker T. Washington 6. This was a game that was 7-6 at halftime, a lot closer. A struggle win for the number 1 team in Class 4A.
Yeah, I mean, Booker T has some great athletes down there.
They do.
They got a kid that's defensive lineman, I think, committed to Auburn. They got an athlete that's committed to Troy. So I can see why it was a good game early.
And yeah, I mean, it's like like you said, defensively, Booker T. Washington is really, really good.
Yeah.
So looking at that, all right, next game. Okay, we are good. Sound line. Make sure we're good. I don't want to be. Anniston 54, Talladega nothing. We already talked about that game. Bayside Academy 38, Escambia County 14, Bibb County 55, Dallas County 8, Brooks 63, Wilson 28, Catholic Montgomery 63, Dale County nothing. Real quick, I want to go. I want to look at them. I want to look at Montgomery. This is a team I feel like that. Everybody, I mean, and
Kind of sleeping on a little bit.
they're sleeping on. And Dex,
Oh, they shouldn't.
Dex,
Johnson,
I'm about,
man, Coach Johnson does a great job.
They should sleep on them.
I was looking at their scores last night, Dex. I want you to hear these.
All right.
Miguel Tulin 21-0, Alabama Christian 49-12, Booker T. Washington 56-6. We just talked about Booker T. Washington. Slocum 42-0, Geneva 49-0, Demopolis 42-0, Montgomery Academy 48-0, Bullitt County 38-0, Dale County 63-0, and they got a huge matchup next week against Andalusia.
That's the only time they're
they've
gonna
gave
get
up
scored
18.
on.
They've gave up 18 points. Haven't gave up a point since week 2. We're talking about 18 points all year. They've played 9 ball games and gave up 18 points. In case you're not real good at math, I know you went to Oxford like me. I had to do it last night. That's 2 points a game.
Dang. That's got to be one of the top, if not the top.
I think it's the top scoring defense in the state.
Andalusia will score on them.
Yeah, they probably
Andalusia score on
They're going to score on them.
All right, so looking at Andalusia, let's look at what they've done. Because that's a big. It's not in our coverage area, but that's a big matchup in Class 4A next week. Opp 42-8, Anniston 39-0, which we know is a pretty big win. Dale County 56-6, Bullock County 50-0, Montgomery Academy 63-19, Bibb County 27-10, Geneva 40-13, Slocum 42-6, Booker T. Washington 27-6. They're really good too. They've given up 68 points, so they got a really good scoring defense as well.
This will be a good
It's gonna
game.
be a good game.
It's going to be a real good game. Y'all are correct there. But I just
Where are they playing at? Do you know where they're playing at?
hold on. Let me go back. I'll tell you. They are playing the football game. It is at Catholic Montgomery. So Montgomery Catholic. That's going to be a really good ball game there. Moving forward. Central Florence 48-21, Cherokee County 49-0 over Etowah. Corner 64, Curry 7, Deschler 28, Rogers 19, Dora 41, Northside 27, Fultondale 35, Good Hope 7, Geneva 30, Bullitt County 20, Haleyville 46, Hamilton 21, Handley 38, Cleveland County 14. Jackson 42, St. Michael 21, Montevallo 42, Holt 12, Montgomery Academy 53, Slocum 20, Mumford 36, White Plains 28, and a big matchup with playoff implications. North Jackson 38, Madison County 20, Oak Grove 42, Cordova 21, Aniana 63, Asheville 39, Orange Beach 45, Wilcox Central 0, Randolph 49, New Hope 7, St. John Paul II 65, DAR 5.
Field goal and a safety.
TR Miller 42, Satsuma 0, West Blockton 44, Hill County 37, West Morgan 64, East Lawrence 18, Westminster Christian 36, Priceville 29. Moving on to Class 3A, Alabama Christian 45, Greensboro 8, Colbert County 55, Clements 13, Dadeville 46, Childersburg 12, Daleville 20, Providence Christian 15, Geraldine 42, Piedmont 27. Not a respectable showing for Piedmont. Let's look at that.
She's gonna make a believer out of somebody.
Let's look at that region, and I'll go to Piedmont, and we'll see where everybody's at in that region. I think it's as simple as this right here for Ohatchee. I think if they win next week against if they're able to win next week against Plainview, they are in. So region standings right now: 7-1. Geraldine. Geraldine is 7-1 or 5-1. Geraldine, they're in second. Sylvania 6-0 in the region. 3-3 is Piedmont. 3-3 is Ohatchee. Piedmont has Hoax Bluff next week. They would have to. So here's what would have to happen for Piedmont to get in. They would have to beat Hoax Bluff. They would have to win against Hoax Bluff, and Ohatchee would have to lose to Plainview. Now, if Ohatchee loses to Plainview and Piedmont loses, Ohatchee still gets in because they hold the tiebreaker with them. Westbrook Christian is already 2-4. Ohatchee holds the tiebreaker over both Westbrook Christian and Piedmont. So Piedmont's got to win next week to give themselves a chance, and Ohatchee would have to lose for Piedmont to get in. If Ohatchee beats Plainview, they're in. Right? So Ohatchee has it in their hands. They don't have to worry about they don't have to worry about nothing else. They just need to go win against Plainview. And that game next week with Plainview that game will be at Plainview. And so you got to go on the road. Plainview hadn't been great, but Ohatchee has got to come out and start better than they did, especially without one of their best players, Jesse Baswell, who's still out with injury. And so that is a game that definitely have to take care of business there. I think he may be back for playoffs. Let me see. Where was I at? Okay, here we go. Gordo 35, Oakman 10, Hillcrest Evergreen 15, Excel 14, Houston Academy 49, Op 20, JB Pennington 28, Susan Moore 7, Lauderdale County 20, Mars Hill 14, Madison Academy 74, Brindley Mountain 0. Oh, wow. Midfield 58, Carbon Hill 0. Mobile Christian 42, Farmington 0. Monroe County 41, Cottage Hill Christian 6.
If I'm coaching and you beat me 74 to nothing, I'm throwing the cooler. Gatorade
Y'all
water.
ain't shaking hands after the game, are y'all?
No, this during the game.
Okay.
I'm throwing all that out there on the field.
There's ways.
You're going to stop this game.
Ain't no doubt about it.
That's it. Curve stomping me like that.
New Brockton 30, Ashford 4, Ohatchee 42, Glencoe 26. Like I said, in a game that was our game of the week, the game was 26-8 at one point. 26-8, y'all. Randolph County 50, Beulah 29. That game was close though at one point. Phil Campbell 32, Colbert Heights 27, Strong 56, New Methodist Academy 21, Sylvania 28, Hoax Bluff 21, Thomasville 34, W.S. Neal 28, Trinity. That game, they were up. Yeah. Hoax Bluff was leading in that game for lot of the game, and we know how good Sylvania is.
Right.
And so that was big. Hoax Bluff is going to be Hoax Bluff. Now listen, y'all. Hoax Bluff is the 3 seed out of that region. If I'm a 2 seed, I do not want to match up with 3 seed Hoax Bluff out of that region.
Good.
Thomasville 34, W.S. Neal 28, Trinity 49, Prattville Christian 28, Vinemont 32, Danville 19, Walter Welborn 48, Weaver 27.
Okay.
Walter Welborn has won 6 in a row.
Yes.
After starting out 0-2. People kind of buried them. Jeff Smith's got those guys playing. I think one of their guys is going to be one of your dudes today, and so we'll be able to see him in just a second. Westbrook Christian.
That team, when Welborn played Anniston, I mean, I think you and your dad went by there. Welborn was actually in that game and should have been leading that ball game.
I honestly think if they don't throw the pick 6 right before half, and then if they don't throw that pick 6, and then if they just don't kick it at all to Jay Money, then I think Welborn, looking back, probably wins that game.
I'm telling you, the year that Welborn beat Anderson, there's going to be some problems in that division. They keep playing, they're going to beat Anderson. Watch.
Westbrook Christian 42, Plainview 35, Winfield 28, Fayette County 24 in a really, really good matchup there. But, hey, let's take a break before we go to Class 2A. and let's go ahead and look at our segment, Dex's Dudes. Let me get it up and ready. Dex, and you can tell us a little bit when the video starts about some of the guys who we're going to feature today in Dex's Dudes.
All right, this is Jabari Williams, the kid from Welcome. So he's a sophomore, kind of a low center of gravity kid, but has great speed. He has some power to him as well. So,
Now you see him right there outrun. They had an angle, and he outran the angle.
and I mean, he has great. It's a play over here where he showed great balance. It's like I couldn't believe he didn't go down on the first week.
Oh man! So you got to hit him. You just can't on
Yeah,
tackle.
and see, I mean, he's fast. I think he's close to 1,400 yards rushing already.
How do you
So,
not get him
see,
in
this
an
is,
angle?
This is an Anderson game right here. See, he just pulling away from those guys. I think he has great vision. He actually defense too. He hawks this guy down. He didn't walk him down. He hawked him down. Watch this.
Hey, I know that we are talking about Williams, but Jay Money don't want people to see that clip that where he just kind of quit.
Ran off.
Yeah.
Look at
Right
that.
here, look right up the middle. When you could split a defender like that, two defenders. I mean, you know you fast. Right here.
Hey, we got to talk to you now. We got to talk to you about last week.
It's even right here. It's like he has great hands. So I honestly think this is a kid that App State kind of likes right now. They usually like the taller, longer players, running backs, but they actually like this kid right here. So I think he has a great right here. He's running everybody to the edge. Gets it back in. I'm trying to find a play where he actually, I think it's 2 or 3 more plays where he kind of, this is the play right here. Watch this here as a running back. Yeah. Great balance. This is the play that wherever beat Randolph County right there. So this is another play against Anderson right here.
They gotta have a game like that against Anderson, man. I'm just telling you, that's pretty good.
He's
Talent.
good, man. He's powerful too. Look at that. Look at the guy with his back right there.
No, he's a really good player.
Yeah. I think he's going to be one of those FBS type. Yeah, y'all was wondering why the Hartsville score was probably this close because this kid right here. You remember Damian Dorsey?
Yes.
You know, they played at Welborn, River for Anderson. You know, Damian was an all-conference player at a special
Louisville.
team and receiver at Louisville. So his kid right here runs 10.86. But he's got ability in special teams. He's a great receiver. He's fast. He's taller and bigger than Damian already. So I think this kid has a bright future as well.
I love that shot you got right there.
Yeah. See right here, watch this player here. Got a great route runner. He runs right past the defensive back right there for a touchdown.
And they put the ball where it need to be put.
Yeah. So this is why.
Who's throwing that ball?
I'm not sure who the quarterback is, but that's probably one of the reasons Hartford, barely beat them. So
That kid is
he's dynamic. He's
punt return.
punt return, kickoff return. Look at this. Cuts across the field.
That's speed.
Great vision. Yep. And he's a sophomore. So
That's awesome right there.
look how far he's behind the secondary. So just jogs into the end zone. Like I say, he can catch it. Look at the great
route.
Yeah. And he does it with ease. So
Tallest. How tall is
5'10", maybe. 5'10". Has good size right now. For a 26 kid. Right there. See? And he's not afraid to go across the middle. So
got good hands too.
he does. I mean, he's runs 10,800 meters already. So 10.86. And it translates in the football field. There's another touchdown right here. This is when he just kind of opens, very elusive, and he hits the corner, and he's in there just jogging on in. Now this kid right here is a first-year football player, 6'6", defensive end. He's a younger brother of Mark Barron that played at Alabama in the NFL. This play right here is against a 5-star offensive tackle that's committed to Georgia. He beat him with no problem. Beat him on this play, even though he didn't make the tackle. So you can see that he has potential. He has a very high ceiling. So I like this play right here. Destroy the quarterback. And even right here, look at that punch. Just knocked the offensive lineman off the way. So I think he's going to end up being like maybe one of those late bloomers, 4-star. I think Alabama.
First year playing?
First year playing.
What's the classification?
5A, Faith Academy.
Junior? Senior?
Junior.
Junior.
He's junior, so I think he's going to be really, really good. I know Alabama's already asking about him. So it's right here. Pushing people around. He play like this.
Got a nose for it.
Yeah. I think he uses his hands really well too for a first year player. Runs the play down right here. So gonna be a great player.
Oh, you see the use of the hands there.
Yeah, I know. Man. He's like he's a natural. So
Just think though, you get a chance to put some weight on him and
yeah, he's about 215 right now. Yeah,
he gets stronger and speed wise. He's gonna be.
Yeah, this is
some
another
things
play.
you don't have to. He's born with it.
Yeah, he's making plays down the field too. So that's against the 5-star offensive line. You see how he just used his hands, dipped underneath him, and going to chase down the ball up there. So he's like ready. All right. What about that? All right. Sorry about that.
What's it all?
All right, coming back. But, hey, Dex, you kind of went statewide today
Yeah.
and kind of showed us a little bit about what we got going on.
Yeah.
The Williams kid at Welborn is going to be a guy that we hear a lot about.
Yeah.
And then the kid from Decatur, the Dorsey kid, can absolutely motor.
He's gonna be like his dad. So
I think you're exactly right. And is Damien, is he coaching there?
yeah,
too?
he's
Okay.
gonna be educated.
And so looking there is obviously a really, really good player there. But the guys that you showed, really good. We've been talking about the guy from Faith Academy all year. And so obviously you got some really, really good dudes. The Wilkes kid, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's actually, well, I don't know if I can say it on the air, but because he has Penn State, he has 2 more offers that he don't know about yet. So, plus he's going to visit Tennessee next month.
He's got 2 offers that he don't know about yet.
Yeah,
Well.
And you got 2 offers you don't know about. That's good.
yeah.
I got 2 offers I don't know about. I need them to come on in.
All right, so jumping forward this next week, obviously we've got a lot of games with some implications on playoffs. We talked about Piedmont. We talked about Ohatchee. We talked about Oxford. I mean, Oxford, their game next week is to see who hosts a playoff game. A lot of people didn't really realize that. Pleasant Valley has Gaston next week, so they should get back to their winning ways, which I actually thought that Pleasant Valley played pretty good against Southeastern last night, only losing, I think, 27-17 or something, 27-13.
Okay.
And so looking at that, I thought that they played extremely well. But next week, Spring Garden and Raglan play in Class 1A. That should be a really good matchup in that Spring Garden Raglan game. Well, how do you feel about that game, Dex?
I actually seen some of the Raglan kids. Somebody sent me a couple of their kids, so they got great athletes. Some of the number 3 and number 7.
No doubt about it.
Their brothers. So, and then Spring Garden has I don't know, number 1. I can't remember his name. And they got the big old lineman number 72. So should be a good game.
Should be a good game. Who do you think's going to win?
Raglan.
I got Raglan too. I think Raglan wins that football game. You got in Class 1A, and I'm trying to go through the list pretty quick. Coosa Christian plays Woodville, another game that Coosa Christian has to win after. And, you know, like Austin Campbell was giving me a hard time because Coosa Christian is one of the top teams in my power rankings. But you can't look at me in the face and tell me that Coosa Christian, even though they had to forfeit those games, is not one of the better teams in class.
I mean, you know, that's why they still ranked in the state.
Class 1A.
Yeah,
They still got them ranked in the state playoff. They still got them ranked by the sport writers.
Yeah.
Still have them ranked. But he's giving me a hard time because I got them ranked in my top 10, but I think they're one of the better teams. And, like, here, I'll tell y'all what. I think I got it pulled up right here. I'll tell you what my top 10 is, and I'll tell you why, Dex, we have that. Our top 10 is not – I'm not saying that I think that B.B. Comer could roll into Oxford and beat Oxford, but I think my top 10 is who has the better chance of winning in their classification. So number one for me is Jacksonville Christian. I think Jacksonville Christian has been dominant all year, had a close game all year. I think they continue to dominate, and I think they actually win their league that they play in. So that's why they're my number one team. They've been absolutely dominant. I think B.B. Comer has a really good chance. I don't know if they can win it, but I think that they have a really good chance to make it again. And if you make it there, the stage is not going to be too big again. I think the stage was too big for them last year. They were kind of googly-eyed walking into Auburn.
That's the thing with B.B. Comer. Of course, they got Harris kid, but they got a quarterback that's really well too, really good. Makes like he's a playmaker, so they're not a one-headed monster, they're a two-headed monster.
Yep.
On offense, so.
And Coosa Christian is another team. They're my number 3 team on mine because I believe in Class 1A, if they make the playoffs, they've got just as good a chance of winning as anybody else. And so I honestly believe that. Clay Central, I think they have a chance to make a little bit of a run in 5A. Obviously, it's going to be tough to beat Ramsey. It's going to be tough when they match up against Gulf Shores again and some of those teams. But with what Central Clay County does, I think they have a good chance to make a little run in Class 5A. Obviously, when you get to Ramsey and you get to some of those teams that are in the north, it's going to be difficult, but they won't have to face one of those teams until they made it to the Super 7. Gulf Shores is good. How good is Gulf Shores, though?
Very good. You know, they got Ronnie Royal. They got a running back that came in from Mobile Christian that's really good. The Jackson kid is really good. A defensive end that's really good. So Gary will like him because he rolls in the game days in a 67 Mustang.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's my kind of kid.
But you talk about Class 5A, Gulf Shores, the number 1 ranked team. They did not play last night. They're 8-0. Ramsey is 7-2, but they've gotten beat by Auburn and Parker. Like nobody in Class 5A. Matter of fact, the test that they had in Class 5A against Pleasant Grove, the number 4 ranked team, and they beat 48-14, I believe, something like. I mean, it was going away. Then you got Central Clay 8-0. Moody will definitely fall. They lost to number 9 Leeds. Gunnersville will fall. They lost to Arab. Southside Gadsden, that means that Southside Gadsden's probably going to move up, maybe the 5th ranked team in Class 5A when the rankings come back out. Fairview at number 8. Leeds defeated Moody, so they're going to move up. So you're going to have a big matchup this week with Moody will probably still be ranked. You're going to have probably a 5 versus 7 or 8 matchup in Class 5A. And then Viger closes it out 6-2 on the year, and one of those coming from a forfeit loss.
Yeah. I see Tank father came on our page here, Robert Evans. Like, man, let me tell you something. Now, as much as you talk about Tank down there, that game he played last night.
He played really well. I thought BJ did a good job of complimenting him, but like at times this year, man, it felt like Tank was literally carrying the team. And he got a little help last night from BJ. But when it came winning time, Tank was rolling, and so I believe that that's a kid that don't get enough credit because of the year that they've had.
Right, and then Robert, I just wanted to give you your shout out, and we've been talking about your son, but I want you to stop right there and quit running around here thinking you can cook better than me. And I already know you want to get in the cook-off. He bugged me so much, want to get in the real cook-off over in Hobson City, man. I told him, wait till we come out on your side of town and get in. He wanted to get in the one in Hobson City, but he can cook pretty good, though. Yeah. He just ain't on that level yet.
He ain't on that level?
No, he ain't on the king level.
I mean, we talking about, like, for a normal average cook-off, he might be okay, but we talking about the king.
That's what I told him. You got to go out there and practice. Don't just think you can just jump out there on the
Man, yeah, made that man feel really good in one sentence, talk about his son, and then you done scratched his eyes out.
Look, he already told me I have that cookout. I'm in from Hobson City.
He said he's from Hobson City. He said,
when are you going to let him in?
Listen, he wanted to get in after we had already got it started. So this is the thing. I'm going to let him come in because one of the guys that was on my team, man, passed away. And shoot, man, it's hard. It's hard to have some good master cooks. Man.
No doubt about it.
But, I'm going to holler at you on that, Robert.
The Handley Tigers are my number 5 team on my power rankings. I think that Obviously, I think they have as good of a chance as any. In the next 3, 5, 6, and 7, Handley, Cherokee County, Jacksonville, all 3 of those teams would have an opportunity on any given night to beat anybody in Class 4A and have a chance to win it.
Only thing like we talked about in the South, they're going to beat each other up. So Handley, Jacksonville, but Montgomery Catholic, Jackson.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
I think, like, Cornejo's really good.
Yeah.
The Tittle kid's playing really good at quarterback. Like, I'm not taking anything away from Cherokee County. Like, they went there last year. They're probably going to go back again. Yeah. I think the South is absolutely loaded. I think when you get Montgomery Catholic, Handley, Jackson, Jacksonville, Andalusia, all those teams in the South, I don't think
that's like the SEC of the South.
You know, when you asked me about some legs on my hamburger a few minutes ago, when you go down to the South, they're gonna have lottery season. You're gonna have that.
Lottery.
It's gonna be some smell. Man, your food's gonna be cooked right. You go down there, you want to. It's gonna be some heat.
What you tell me is you got to have the right ingredients, and some of those teams in 4A South got the right ingredients.
Down south is all in there. It's just, man, okay.
Oh, you an idiot. You an idiot.
Hey, think it's a game, okay? Play it with it you want to.
No paprika.
Mess around there and find out. Go down there.
You are an absolute idiot. I got Moody, which this was an O I got to read. They fallen. Southside is moving up.
Yeah.
Oxford is going to stay about the same because I think that the way they played isn't enough to move them out of the top 10. I think that, like I said, if Oxford puts it together, they have the athletes to beat anybody on any given night. Yeah. And so looking at that, obviously this is just our little coverage area. Fife would have been a team if I stretched it out a little bit that would be in there. Who you trying to say I'm in?
Clay Chalk. I don't see them on.
They ain't in our coverage area.
I know you just said stretching it out. I'm just saying.
Clay Chalkville will be in there, obviously. Yeah. Gaston City is right there on the edge, like winning their region. I don't feel like realistically that Gaston City has a chance to make any kind of sustainable run, but I think they could make it to the 3rd round if they play well. And so looking at that, we have a Clay Central volunteer over here watching the show.
That's a Wellborn guy.
He's just wearing the Clay. He's just wearing the Central Clay hat. He's got a grant. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's a Wellborn guy.
And Wellborn doing good too.
Wellborn Panther. So Central Clay County and Wellborn. So both the teams he likes having a great year there. So Dex, with 2 more weeks left in the regular season, what are some things that you're going to look for the next 2 weeks?
I just want to see, as far as playoffs, how the region kind of shapes out for these kids that's, got a region championship in line. But the game I'm looking forward to in this area will be Jacksonville and Oxford.
A non-region game in Week 10, that's going to be a good ball game.
Yeah, and I think it can help both teams because Jacksonville's playing up, but also Oxford's going to go against the Ogle kid. And what's his name?
English is the running back, and then you got Sinclair is the receiver, and Fisher is the receiver.
Fisher. So I think it's going to help Oxford in the long run too, because those are great athletes.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just looking forward to see how everything's going to shape up. Who's going to win? Who's going to surprise us? Who's going to let us down? That always happens too. So
no doubt about it. Speaking of somebody that will not let you down, Jacksonville Body Shop is your place to go for any mechanical needs on your car. Make sure you give the guys at Jacksonville Body Shop a call. They will take care of you. Jacksonville Body Shop in Jacksonville for all your car needs. But moving forward this next week, like I said, Ohatchee's got a huge game. Piedmont's got a big game. Oxford's got a big game because you don't want to go on the road in the first round of the playoffs. Oxford and Centerpoint is for who gets to host in the first round of the playoffs. So that's going to be a big game for the Oxford Yellow Jackets.
And I don't think Centerpoint gets talked about enough because Coach Bates does a great job over there. What are they, 7-1?
Yeah, the only game they lost. They got beat by Clay Chalkville, and they lost to Pell City, but
region play there.
But in region play, but it was a forfeit, and so they got that win back. Yeah. And so they're having a really good year over there in Centerpoint.
Yep.
But you're right. I don't think the job that Coach Bates does gets talked about nearly enough.
Well, you want to talk about it? We heading over there.
He done a really good job at Minor when he was there. He's done a really good job at Center Point.
Yeah.
And like, you got to think about what he's done with Center Point. And people counted Center Point out because before the year, I don't know, like, realize this or not, but there was people moving out, leaving Center Point and moving to other places in this new age of transfer portal that we talk about in high school football that were moving out. And so when you look at that, he's been able to right the ship, get the right guys in the right place, keep enough guys there. And so in this new age of high school football where people leave for greener pastures, which I hate, it is what it is, but it's here to stay. When NIL gets here, it's going to be even bigger. I mean, we saw a guy leave a school this year and go to a different school because he wanted to make his NIL be able to be better at NIL when he got to college. So people are already thinking about that right now. When it actually gets here, you're going to see it all the time.
You know, and the thing about the NIL, I talked about it on Facebook, people don't realize it's going to put some of these people in a different tax bracket.
Yep.
And some of the people that didn't pay
They don't
taxes,
think like that.
When they don't pay taxes, they're going to start paying taxes, they're going to be like, wow.
Yeah.
And then, another thing I made point, it's like those kids, Pell Grants. You know, that's going to be counted as income.
You're not gonna lose. You're not gonna get that. But you made a post about kids leaving and going to Georgia or going wherever, and you got to understand they got blue chips over there in Georgia. You're not gonna go and jump in front of some kids that's already over there unless you. If you're that good, you can be good in Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, you can stay right here in your state instead of trying to jump ship. But they're talking about that money. And you talking about the money part, now that's different.
And see, they don't realize too, they want to move to Georgia. And those people over there, they don't know the Bama kids. So, you know, why would they get, I mean, you may have somebody like a Ryan Williams or Kool-Aid, you know, when he's in high school. But, you know, why would you invest in a kid you don't know anything about or that you don't know?
Well, I say this. And the things that you do, you put spotlights out there on these kids, and people be able to see them. All right, I'm not gonna never say that Georgia football coach don't get a chance to know about a kid that's over here in Alabama. If like I said, if he's good enough and then he's getting his name out there, and somebody gonna see him. But you gotta understand, they ain't just looking at you. They're looking at 5 or 6 other kids around the country that they want to bring in too. You might be that one. Fourth down. If I don't get these 3 here, I can get
just
this.
Like
that's what it is.
So and the parents, they don't look at it that way.
Be smart.
You know? They're looking at it as like, you know, $10,000 here, whatever they can get out of a deal. Then you got to think about, you know, you got to pick up and move your whole family.
That's right.
And that costs a lot of money to move.
That's right.
And you got to find a job. And
you got some people. You got a lot of people out here that's doing it. And like you said, it's don't open up. But again, it's not easy to do.
It's not.
I'm telling you right now, I got it. All my kids up and grown now. I want to move out of the house I'm in, but it ain't easy because some fact is the mortgage, everything is up high. You just can't jump around. I mean,
and, you know, like I said, everything was the water the grass is greener, but the water is higher in certain places. So
I was always told that if you water your grass in your yard, it might grow. It might look good if you take care of that. We on turf now, baby.
Yeah,
y'all on turf now?
Yeah, we got turf over here now. We ain't got water our grass. Come on down. Come on down. The doors are open.
All right. So looking forward to next week, real quick. We're not going to pick this morning because, like I said, we don't have no graphics or anything like that. But Southside has a huge matchup next week with Moody. They can win their region outright. Anniston plays Cleveland County in a big matchup. White Plains and Jacksonville, Mumford and Handley. Can one of those teams pull off a miraculous upset and get in the playoffs that way? Or is it going to come down to the tiebreakers going way down the line?
I think it's going to be the tiebreakers going down the line. That's my personal opinion.
I do too, and Gary was messing with me about last night, but I just don't see either one of those 3 teams beating one of those other 3 teams.
And anything can happen, but
you missed it.
I did.
Don't talk about it.
I tell you off there.
And you know, we keep talking about the region with Piedmont and Ohatchee and kind of that region absolutely loaded. We know how good Sylvania is. We know Geraldine's good.
Right.
Hoax Bluff has really kind of rose to the top as well. And that 4th seed's still up for grabs. We talked about it earlier. Ohatchee wins, they're in. Ohatchee loses and Piedmont wins, they're in. Both lose, then Ohatchee would still be in because they hold the tiebreaker over Piedmont. And so there's a big matchup right here behind us. The Center Point and Oxford winner gets to host first round of the playoffs. So that's a big game. But like there's a couple you talk about in a couple weeks. I don't want to advance in a couple weeks. Jacksonville Oxford's going to be a big matchup. Pleasant Valley Weaver's going to be a big matchup. There's going to be some big. Alexandria could get their first win of the year in a couple of weeks when they play Talladega. And so you got some big games coming up. Jacksonville Christian start their playoffs next. Jacksonville Christian starts their playoffs next week. See if they can make a run.
I'm gonna say Talladega gonna beat Alexandria.
And so do what?
Talladega gonna beat Alexandria.
I don't know.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why I say that.
I hope so. I mean, I don't hope so, but I like Bill Smith. I like
both. Listen, I like both programs, but let me tell you the reason why I say that is because Alexandria lost a lot out there, and it's showing that he's reaching down and trying to rebuild from the ground up again. And Talladega been getting them lumps on their head for the past 2 years, and I'm telling you right, they played better this other night. And they actually, I think they better than Alexandria right now, even though they haven't won a game.
We shall see. We shall see. Hey, Mr. Day, I got to put you on the spot. You can't. I got you, Mike, right here. Go ahead and come up here. We got 10 minutes left in the show. We're gonna talk a little college football. Because you can't. I mean, I don't want to let people forget. Now we got to lay it all on the table. You came out a couple of weeks ago and talked all that smack about your Oregon Ducks.
Yes, I did. I did.
And you should have called Dan Lanning and told him that he needed to make sure he didn't make no coaching decisions like he made last week at Washington.
Yes, he did. He laid an egg. You know, I got a humble
Ducks
pie.
lay eggs.
Yeah.
Is it what come first, the egg or the duck?
The egg.
Okay.
The egg. And he laid one. I know he regretted it.
Yeah.
It hurt me.
It did?
And I did talk a lot of noise about my Ducks because they was on the way. They was on their way, and they're a good team. I'm not taking that away from them, but either coaches made mistakes.
There's two things I wanted to bring to the table about your ducks.
Okay.
You do know ducks swim too.
Yes.
They ain't got to fly high all the time.
No.
They swim too, so they that's okay.
Yeah.
Because when they curve stomp my arm, Colorado. When they curve stomp all Colorado,
Yeah.
you got enough to live off of for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
That's all right. You don't worry about it.
And I agree. You know, we got the humble pie.
Don't worry
We
about
got
it.
to put back on us.
Yeah.
You know, and it
They
hurt.
should have won that game.
Yeah, we should have won. We had it.
All right. I
But,
watched
you
that
know,
game.
when you take the gas off,
Yeah.
Put out the
and
gas.
and you make, instead of making a right turn, you make a left turn.
Yeah.
If the GP tell you go right,
And
and
you go left. Yeah.
You deserve to get you
The first mistake I believe they made right before half, 8-point ball game. He gets greedy. He's trying to score. Go into the half with a 1-possession game. You end up giving up a field goal, and now it's a 2-possession ball game at halftime.
Exactly.
But obviously a matchup that featured 2 Heisman Trophy contenders, Bo Nix and also Michael Penix Jr. from Washington, a guy that's playing out of his mind right now.
out of his mind.
But hey, listen now, like if y'all don't respond back, y'all may lose again today. Y'all got a big matchup. The Oregon Ducks does with Washington State today.
No, they gonna beat the they gonna beat Washington State. Y'all got them. Don't worry.
We gonna look. One thing about the Ducks,
They gonna beat
they
them.
don't mind taking a whoop in the first game.
Yeah.
But the second time,
They come back.
They coming
they're
back.
gonna back. They're coming
believe
back. They're not gonna make the same mistake twice.
I know.
Yeah, I was just ready to say
You know,
that. Yeah.
you know, they're not gonna make it twice.
Washington State don't have the quality of players that Oregon got. And I'm
Right.
just watching that. I'm
Right.
telling you, Oregon will beat them
They gonna
handily
beat them.
today.
Right.
But to hear you say Bo Nix and Heisman Trophy is something that I didn't think I ever hear.
Yeah, I was the same way.
You
'cause
sure
I
about
was-
that?
Dude,
I was I was against Bo Nix coming to
Bo
Oregon.
Nix has been playing out of his mind.
Yes,
Yeah.
I give, like I said,
It wasn't Bo Nix's fault. It was a little bit to do with coaching, and it was a little bit to do with not having an offensive line in the past 4 or 5 years at
I
Auburn
agree.
University.
I agree.
Well,
Hey,
I didn't think I would ever
listen.
hear it. That's what I'm telling
You can be a great look. I mean, I want to say this: T.J. Finley is playing out of his mind right now at
Yeah.
Texas State.
Yeah, and so-
like it's got a little bit to do with coaching,
Yep.
and it's got a little bit to do with offensive line play
Yes.
for them. It didn't matter if we had Cam Newton back as our quarterback the last couple of years. When you don't block at all, it's hard to play.
I agree. Now, let's talk about your team.
What team is that? Which one you?
We laid an egg, but did Colorado they won too?
No, Colorado didn't lay no egg. Buffalo don't lay eggs. They just laid a whole
Polish.
egg. That's it.
Oh, Polish.
Yeah.
I do not believe.
Yeah, you believe
29
it?
points.
It's-
And look, not the team. One man dominated
that team.
that team.
That's right.
One man.
Right.
When you keep going to the same play over and over and over and over again, same receiver, and no matter how many you put on him, 1, 2, the whole team could be on him.
He
He
still
was
get.
playing out of his mind.
Yeah,
Do
How
nothing
you
with it.
let a team come back 29 points?
No. We saw it.
Here's the thing about it. Like, we talk about humble pie, and you joked about it earlier, but even one of the best players in the country had to eat some humble pie because he absolutely roasted Travis Hunter in that second half.
He did.
Big time.
And see, that's the thing with Travis playing both
And Travis
ways.
said it.
Playing both ways, it's taxing. And
When
high
you're trying to
school,
cover the best receiver
Yeah.
and you're the best
Yeah.
you're the best option on offense, that's tough.
That's hard to do,
Listen.
especially in college.
That's hard to do.
And he got the kind of coach in Dion that we're gonna take. Hey, we'll take that lump. You're gonna take that lump. You take that lump. He's still gonna be going both ways.
Right.
And that guy's stats and stuff, he's still gonna be going to pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my thing about that is, win and loss right now, get him while he down.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna recruit.
Yeah.
And when he gets some of them players out there, like you said, front line, defensive line, some of them big boys.
And I agree.
It's gonna be something to deal with.
It's going to be something to be deal with next year.
Recruit.
This is his trying time.
They going.
And I give him all the respect in the
Yeah.
world.
Right.
I got much love for Dion.
Yeah.
But coaching wise, he got a humble pie. He had to taste some humble pie too.
Yeah.
His coaches had to taste some humble pie.
Yeah.
Because how can you go in the locker room, 29 points, come back and like somebody turn the TV, turn the switch, and come back and let a team beat you?
You make a Christian man cuss.
I would be-
That's what
I
happened.
would be saying
listen,
something. It won't
listen.
be Jesus.
Gary's not really a Colorado fan. He like 1 foot in the bandwagon, 1 foot out right now.
Yeah.
He don't know what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Auburn just lets us down. So he always, when you're an Auburn fan, you always searching for other teams
Exactly,
to cheer
exactly.
for. Except for me.
You
I'm
know
an
he's an Auburn fan.
He's
He
an Auburn
ain't
fan.
gonna
I'm an
tell me
Auburn
my
fan.
foot is on the bandwagon and off the bandwagon.
Now I'm in. I'm fully in with the Auburn Tigers, even no matter how bad we are.
I'm a sportsman. I love college and high school sports, but what I'm saying is, I've been a Dion fan since Dion left Florida State.
Exactly.
But my thing about that is, I love what he's doing for kids, but
I love the
Yeah.
same way.
it's not just that I'm gonna go out here and jump on Colorado as my
Right.
top team.
Right.
I'm an Auburn man. I'm an Alabama State man.
Right.
My thing about that, when you lose, I'm going to tell you, you just got curse stumped.
And same thing.
And my Yellow Jacket got beat Friday.
I
But
didn't-
yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
a
actually-
Yellow Jacket man. I'm
They
not
got
gonna
Good
ever.
Friday.
Yeah, but it's the thing about that is I throw the red flag for instant replays and it still look the same.
All right, hey, listen, we ain't got but 4 minutes. So I'm going to go quickly through some games. Who wins today, Penn State or Ohio State?
Penn State.
Penn State.
Who
you
they
got?
playing that game at?
They are playing it at Ohio State.
Ohio
You can't
State.
change them.
Ohio State?
I'm going to go with Ohio State, too, but that is a 3-7 matchup starting
Yeah,
at
at
11
home.
o'clock today. That's going to be a big matchup at that 11 o'clock game. We got Air Force and Navy. Who wins that one?
Air Force.
Toss up for me. I go with Navy.
I got Air Force.
Air Force.
I got Air Force, too.
It's hard for a ship to beat a plane.
You got to land that plane on the ship.
Yep.
Hey, all right, here we go. Washington State, Oregon. I know who you going with.
Oregon all the way.
Oregon.
Oregon.
I got Oregon, too. Minnesota and Iowa.
Toss up, I would say Minnesota.
They playing at Minnesota.
They playing at Iowa.
Iowa.
Minnesota.
I got Iowa. South Carolina, Missouri. Doesn't feel like it almost feels
Is that
like a
in Missouri?
must-win for South Carolina.
Yeah,
It is at Missouri.
I'm going with Missouri.
Missouri.
At home.
Missouri.
I got
Missouri at
Missouri
home.
too, but
Missouri
I
at
think
home.
I think that South Carolina's going to try to pull out everything they can
They
because
better.
for
They're
Coach
desperate.
Beamer and South Carolina, they desperate right
They're
now.
desperate, yes.
Duke and Florida State, 16 versus 4 matchup.
Florida State. Duke is good, but Florida
Duke's
State.
got a
They're
really
playing
good
good ball this
secondary.
year.
Yeah, I think Duke gonna get them.
They playing the ball. What they playing
they
game?
playing?
They playing at Florida State.
No, don't ever think they're gonna go down and beat them in Florida State. Now then Duke will be,
Hey,
it'll be
Duke's
different.
listen,
good.
they a lot of teams that's winning the Doak Campbell here lately and
Yeah.
won. Give me Duke.
this year.
Duke ain't worried about that.
But
Duke,
the sweetest
look,
win,
Duke's used to
the
pressure,
sweetest
man.
win
They
is
all
about
had to take
to come your
ACTs and
house
stuff.
and beat you. That's
Yeah.
the most sweetest win, about to come to your house and beat you.
I got Duke.
Let
I
me,
think,
hold
I
on,
think
let me
Duke.
tell you something. You know that the grade level to get up in Duke, them A's and A plus,
3.9,
when you start getting them little smart boys to go down here and if the boys down in that swamp.
Hey, we ain't got but a minute and a half left.
Duke.
Florida
I'm
State.
going Duke.
Too smart.
Utah and USC.
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 I got USC. Too much firepower for the USC Trojan. But they got look, they got embarrassed though against Notre Dame last
did.
week. So
That big back.
we'll see. And then the two games, obviously, Ole Miss, Auburn, War Eagle, or Ole Miss. Is it going to be the Land Sharks doing it? What do you think?
It don't matter.
What a game.
It don't
What a
matter.
game.
Land
It is at Auburn.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. I'm an Auburn fan. I hope they win, but I just don't see how they can stop Ole Miss.
You got Ole Miss?
I think Ole Miss is going to
I
win.
got Ole Miss too.
All right, here we go. We're 40 seconds out. Real quick, do we got Rocky Top or Roll Tide? What's it going to be?
Roll Tide.
Roll
Road-
Tide.
You picking Tennessee?
Oh, they don't want neither one of them teams.
Alabama's at home. I hate to say it.
Nick
Y'all
Saban
know-
on the road now.
I got Roll Tide at home. I think
Yes.
Alabama's starting to figure it out. I would love to see Rocky Top win. I would love to see them come in and spoil. My kid's actually going to be at the game, but he's an Auburn fan. I had to tell him you got to cheer for the team that brought you.
Smart
All right, we're
kid.
10-9 out. This has been the Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week.